In the beginning, before the stars were set in place, before the first breath of man, there was the Word. It was through this Word that all things came into existence, and within this Word was a record and eternal book, not written by human hands, but inscribed in the mind of God Himself. This book, the Book of Life, was not made of parchment or ink, but of divine will, where names were written before the foundation of the world. No man could say with certainty when it was first formed, for its origins stretched beyond time itself. Some say that before the heavens were filled with light, before the first angelic song echoed through eternity, the Almighty set forth a decree. He would create beings in His image, not as mere automatons, but with the ability to choose. And with that choice came consequences: life, death, eternity. To secure the faithful, He established this book, a record of those who would walk in His ways, who would be called His own, who would inherit the kingdom not made by hands. It is written in Revelation 13:8. That all who dwell on the earth will worship the beast, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. This verse unveils the mystery. The book of life was established from the very beginning, even before sin entered the world. It was not an afterthought, but part of God's sovereign plan. He foreknew the fall, yet He also knew the path of redemption. The book belongs to the Lamb, Jesus Christ, whose sacrifice would determine whose names would remain written within it. Moses, the great prophet and deliverer of Israel, understood the gravity of this book when the Israelites sinned against God, crafting a golden calf and turning from the living God. The wrath of the Almighty burned hot against them. But Moses, a man who stood between judgment and mercy, cried out in Exodus 32:31-32, "Oh, these people have committed a great sin, and have made for themselves a god of gold. Yet now, if you will forgive their sin, but if not, I pray, blot me out of your book which you have written." The Lord's response was firm: "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot him out of my book." Exodus 32-33. This was the first glimpse humanity had of the weight of this record, that it was not merely a list but a declaration of eternal standing. It was both a promise and a warning. There was mercy, but there was also justice. The book of life was not a book to be taken lightly, for to be erased from it meant separation from God Himself. As history unfolded, prophets spoke of this book, warning that to have one's name written within it was to be granted life everlasting. Daniel 12:1 describes a time of great distress, unlike anything the world has ever seen. At that time your people shall be delivered, everyone who is found written in the book. It is a book of deliverance, a book that determines who will rise to everlasting life, and who will face shame and everlasting contempt. When Christ walked the earth, He revealed even more about the book of life when His disciples went out, casting out demons and healing the sick. They returned filled with joy, exclaiming, "Lord, even the demons are subject to us in your name." Luke 10:17. But Jesus, in His divine wisdom, redirected their focus. "Do not rejoice that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven." Luke 10:20. This was a powerful reminder that miracles, authority, and power were fleeting. The true measure of success was not in what they could do on earth, but in whether their names were recorded in God's eternal book. To be written in that book was the highest honor, the greatest security, the ultimate victory. Perhaps the greatest revelation of the book of life was given to John, the beloved disciple, who was taken up into the heavens and shown the end of all things. There, in his vision, he saw the great and final judgment. "And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged according to their works, by the things which were written in the books." Revelation 20:12. The scene was terrifying yet just. The sea gave up its dead, and the earth and sky fled from the presence of the Almighty. Those whose names were not found written in the book of life were cast into the lake of fire, forever separated from the one who created them. Revelation 20:15. This was the second death, the final separation, the ultimate consequence. But what does it mean to have one's name written there? Some believe it is written at birth, others that it is inscribed upon true repentance and faith. Still, there are warnings that names can be blotted out. Revelation 3-5 gives both a promise and a condition. He who overcomes shall be clothed in white garments, and I will not blot out his name from the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. To overcome means to endure, to remain faithful to Christ, to hold fast in a world that tempts with compromise. It is not merely believing but abiding, not just hearing but obeying. To have one's name permanently secured in the book of life is to be counted among the redeemed, those washed in the blood of the Lamb. There is hope woven throughout this mystery. The Lamb who was slain, Jesus Christ, is said to have his own book, a book of those redeemed by his blood. Philippians 4-3 speaks of those whose names are in the book of life, a reference to the faithful who labor for the gospel. Their names are not there by accident, but by the divine decree of a merciful God. Some theologians speculate that everyone's name is originally written in the book of life, but those who reject God are blotted out. Psalm 69-28 echoes this idea. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. A solemn warning that those who turn from God risk erasure from the greatest record of all. Angels stand at the gates of eternity, holding this book with hands that do not tremble. They know its weight, its importance. Every name within it is a soul cherished by the Most High, a soul that will never taste the second death. When the final trumpet sounds, when time is no more, those whose names are written will enter a city of gold, a place where death is a forgotten shadow and sorrow is swallowed by everlasting joy. So, who wrote the book of life? Only the one who holds eternity in his hands. Why is it important? Because within its pages lies the destiny of every soul that has ever lived. It is the record of those who will walk in the light of God forever. And it is the most precious book in all existence. To have one's name written in it is to belong to God forever. And in the end, that is all that truly matters.